I'm going to regret making this, but I think I owe it to every first-time driver out there, okay? Just a fair warning, this car will kill you. This ain't a neon. It's not a cobalt. It's a Saturn. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Before You Buy a Saturn Ion Redline. 3 letters and a number were responsible for the death of this car. You ready? Here we go. It might be familiar. It's SRT4. All right, just to make a long story short, the Saturn Ion Redline was released the same freaking year as the Neon SRT4, and it suffered from horrible marketing by General Motors, okay? So along comes the Neon SRT4 with its visible 4 doors. I'll touch base on that in just a second. And with its big... Shut the fuck up. And with its big wing and fake hood scoop, it's easy to see why the Neon SRT4 won the Fast and Furious generation over. But now, 16 years later, all the Neons and Cobalts lie in pieces in junkyards across the country, used and abused by the quote-unquote young generation that bought them. Finally, after 16 years, all the dads that bought Ion Redlines get the last laugh. You see, while all the teens and 20-somethings all bought Cobalts and Neons, the Ion Redlines were mostly bought by dads. That's because at first glance, the Redline appears to be a 2-door coupe until you realize it has 2 hidden suicide doors as well, which ended up fooling a lot of potential buyers, hence why the 4-door SRT4 outsold the Redline. Well, the Ion Redline's value's about to go up a tad bit after this video. Pound for pound, stock for stock, the Redline puts the Neon and Cobalt to absolute shame. Powered by a factory supercharged 2.0 liter double overhead cam LSJ inline 4, the engine later used in the Chevy Cobalt SS, by the way. Oh yeah, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody. Okay, I'm just kidding. I couldn't help it. Where all my road dog people's at? What you know about that? Anyways, the Ion... that threw me off. I'm sorry. The Ion Redline actually came before the Cobalt SS. Bone stock, the Ion Redline made 236 horsepower and 218 foot-pounds of torque. This car only weighs just about 2,900 pounds. Now, I know what you're thinking. 237 horsepower on its own isn't bad, but what truly makes the Ion shine is its supercharger. You see, unlike its turbocharged competition, you throw in some 42-pound injectors, ported heads, a 3-inch supercharger pulley, and an intake manifold spacer along with a little basic cold air intake, and you'll be pushing just over 250 horsepower. And here's why I said the Ion Redline will kill you, okay? That's because being front-wheel drive with all that horsepower, Ion Redlines can't hold traction and will torque steer your ass out of your lane and straight into a wall. Now, besides plastering your guts all over the road, putting that aside, the Saturn Ion is the most reliable out of the domestic import scene. You see, these bastards can take some serious punishment and will go past 100,000 miles without any major issues. Besides some crappy air conditioning compressors, water pumps, and alternators, all of which can be easily and cheaply fixed, might I add, the fact that only dads bought these cars was a blessing in disguise for any young car buyer now. That's because these Redlines are usually maintained better than the SRT4s and Cobalts it was outsold by. They'll also last a lot longer. And for just around 3 to 4K for a decent one, it was one of GM's best kept secret until now.